Well, the Inyo sheriff deputies had a weapons bust the other night in Bishop. On May 19th at approximately 10:30 p.m., Inyo County Sheriff deputies contacted and arrested Bishop resident and convicted felon 48-year-old Kene Watterson for active Inyo County arrest warrants. Watterson was arrested without incident and transported to the Inyo County Jail. Inyo County Sheriff deputies and Mint investigators conducted a search of Watterson's residence pursuant to Watterson's terms of post-release community supervision. During the search, deputies located several items of concern, including a loaded AR-15 style rifle with loaded magazines, an improvised explosive device, also known as an IED, approximately 50 pounds of ammonium nitrate blasting agent, a live blasting cap, and several live rounds of ammunition. All of the items were safely removed from the residence and retained as evidence. Watterson was booked into the Inyo County Jail on the Inyo County arrest warrants, which included a no bail warrant, along with the additional charges of possession of a destructive device, possession of materials with intent to make a destructive device, felon in possession of a firearm, felon in possession of ammunition, and violation of terms of post-release community supervision. No sooner than Sierra Wave reporter Deb Murphy's report yesterday on the Mono County supervisors approving the attestation document to the state to reopen the county in Stage 2, then the approval came from the state today. This brings Inyo and Mono counties in greater alignment with reopening retail stores during the rapidly approaching summer tourism season. The question now is, what about public campground reopenings? Dispersed camping presents real dangers, especially during the fire season. Mono County's attestation supporting their readiness to move into expanded Stage 2 of the state's reopening plan is posted and approved by the California Department of Public Health. So, what can you do in the expansion? Everything in Stage 1 and early Stage 2. Destination retail, for example, shopping malls. In restaurant dining, other amenities like bars and gaming areas are not permitted at all in Stage 2, and reopening schools with modifications. We have a report here from Deb Murphy about Mono County supervisors voting to proceed with the state's attestation process. Now they just have to wait for word back.
California offered alternatives to enter fully into Stage 2 of the COVID-19 reopening process on Monday with the posting of new criteria. With those changes, Mono County's documentation fits with no review, according to members of the Emergency Operations Committee. That was the news the Board of Supervisors needed to hear as they voted unanimously to proceed with certifying the county's readiness to graduate fully into Stage 2. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Gavin Newsom's stay-at-home order went into effect March 20th. His roadway to recovery was laid out in stages, the second of which went into effect late last week, along with guidelines that have become a moving target for smaller counties. While curbside retail was allowed in early Stage 2, retail stores, shopping malls, and swap meets are open in the expanded Stage 2. Also included are dine-in restaurants and schools with modifications. The guidelines for each of the above are rigid, but at this point it's still good news. The latest update to California's criteria provided alternatives that help counties like Mono with populations equivalent to small communities in Southern California. For instance, under stable or downtrending hospitalizations, Mono could attest to, quote, no more than 20 COVID hospitalizations in any single day in the last 14 days, close quotes. The number of COVID-19 cases had held at 28 but jumped to 33 on May 8th. There have been no hospitalizations since March. Dr. Craig Burrows, Mammoth Hospital's chief medical officer, told the board the hospital had plans in place to separate the facility into zones, increase the number of beds to 40, and increase intensive care capacity from 2 beds to 10. Guidelines for counties with small populations allowed for at least one staff person trained and available for contact tracing. The county also had to identify triggers that would move them backwards. The county's attestation included the required letters of support from the board, the public health officer, and Mammoth Hospital. Dr. Tom Boo, Mono's public health officer, said it could take 1 to 3 days to hear back, but Supervisor John Peters indicated Inyo County had heard in 3 hours. At the end of the supervisor's discussion, Supervisor Fred Stump pointed out there were 2 sides to the COVID-19 concern: the economic concerns and citizens afraid of COVID-19 spreading. Quote, "I trust Dr. Boo's plans will alleviate those fears," he said. Now the county waits to see its name on the list of counties fast-tracking through Stage 2.
Did you know that there is coronavirus COVID-19 disaster relief assistance for immigrants? In response to the COVID-19 outbreak, California is providing one-time state-funded disaster relief assistance to undocumented adults who are ineligible for other forms of assistance, including assistance under the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security CARES Act and pandemic unemployment benefits because of their immigration status. This state funding is expected to reach about 150,000 undocumented adults. The California Department of Social Services has selected 12 immigrant-serving nonprofit organizations to help individuals apply for and receive this disaster relief assistance in their region. An undocumented adult who qualifies can receive $500 in direct assistance with a maximum of $1,000 in assistance per household. There are a number of places an immigrant can call for assistance. For Mono County, that's the United Farm Workers Foundation, and their phone number is 877-527-6660. That number again is 877-527-6660, and that was the United Farm Workers Foundation. Inyo County is listed under the Inland Empire. San Bernardino Community Service Center is where you would go for assistance. You can call them at 909-521-7535. That number again is 909-521-7535. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife is temporarily allowing online hunter education classes. In response to the delay of in-person California hunter education classes due to the virus, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife is temporarily allowing new hunters to complete their education requirements entirely online. Prior to COVID-19, California offered a traditional in-person course or a hybrid online and in-person class with a certified hunter education instructor. Because all classroom instruction opportunities have been suspended, California will temporarily waive the in-person requirement, allowing students to complete the full course of instruction online. David Bees, the CDFW Deputy Director and Chief of the Law Enforcement Division, says, "We don't want anyone to miss out on the chance to earn their certification before the fall hunting seasons, so we believe this is a reasonable solution given the circumstances. When deemed safe to do so, CDFW intends to return to the prior system." The cost for the course is $24.95. All you have to do is go online at wildlife.ca.gov/hunter-education. Successful prospective hunters who complete and pass the online course will be able to immediately print a paper hunter education completion certificate, which will qualify them to purchase a hunting license. For more details or information on these stories and others, visit our website at sierrawave.net.